Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates. I am Enzo, this is my forever co-host John, and this week we're talking about heist movies, which we don't ever do, apparently.
We don't?
I mean, we did Baby Driver and that's about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, how did you come across this movie in the first place?
I always see it, I always see it in Netflix, for the past few months. And I was like, oh, look, it's Al Pacino. And I know that my dad had, a DVD of it somewhere. I never watched it until this point where I'm like, okay, I gotta do a review on it. Mind you, I was a little bit sick while I was doing the whole movie thing, but I retained some stuff because I was so fucking shocked. I thought this was a recent movie. Not recent, but around 2005-ish. What was this?
1995?
1995, and it looks new.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, I was like, this really, it aged very well. But then you kind of look back and you see Al Pacino and Robert De Niro going on full sprint trying to chase each other. And I'm like, nah, they don't do that. No.
Or at least they can't no more, because they don't have...
They can't.
They don't really move that much anymore. In terms of running, I mean. Yeah.
They own.
Well, when I say where I got the movie from, we'll probably have a collaboration with this channel one day at this point, because I got this movie from Watch Mojo. So yeah, maybe one day we'll have a top 10 Geeks and Degenerates video with them. Sorry.
Is Watch Mojo still big?
Yeah, it's still going on.
Is it?
Yeah, I've watched a few videos.
Okay, I haven't seen a video in 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Now they do 20 lists, so they're like, oh, cool. Why not? Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, the big draw for this movie for audiences in the 90s was the fact that this was the first time De Niro and Al Pacino ever were on the screen together, in a scene together.
Oh, okay, you're right. Because in The Godfather, he was, yeah.
Yeah. And the way they shoot the first heist, you see how efficient and effective Neil's crew is. It's him, Waingro, Chris, played by Val Kilmer, and Michael, played by the late great Tom Sizemore.
Yes. And I gotta say, again, I am very shocked. Because every time I see, Tom Sizemore or Robert De Niro, I would see them as a little shorter, a little stockier, and a little older.
Yeah.
That's always in my head. And then I see Tom Sizemore, standing up straight.
Yeah.
I always want he was shorter. But he's, almost to height with Val Kilmer, and I know Val Kilmer's tall.
Yeah.
And same with Robert De Niro. I'm they were way taller back in the day.
Right?
Before age hit them,
Yeah. And you see how calm and collective all of them are, except for Waingro. Because they bulldoze the armored car, they open the hatch with explosives, and everything's going fine until Waingro executes one of them, and they all have to execute the guards. Very clean and efficiently.
Wasn't somewhat of an afterthought, we need an extra guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not really part of the team. He kind of just I was in it for that one job.
Yeah.
He fucked it up.
Yeah. And that's why Vincent Hanna, portrayed by Al Pacino, is on the trail, because it is a robbery and homicide. And you see that Neil is very mad at the fact that Waingro decided to go on a killing spree, and he just very effectively kicks him out of the crew. And almost execute him as well.
I was gonna say he was supposed to execute him, but Waingro ran away.
Yeah, in the diner scene when they're waiting for Neil, and Neil just stamps his head. The guy's like, "What's going on?" And Tom Sizemore's just like, "What?" It's like, okay.
Nah, I will say this is such a good I don't know who the actor is for Waingro, but the team of Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, Robert De Niro and
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo is such a good pair.
Yeah.
Just like if I ever went into a diner and just saw them at a table, I would like, I'm out. Please, I'm not even hungry.
And like you see all of their lives in between the highs. Like you see how imperfect and even though they have a lot of money, their lives are imperfect. Like their marriages are falling apart, especially for Chris. His marriage is falling down the drain with his girlfriend who cheats on him as well. And you're like, oh, okay, poor guy.
Yeah.
But then you see it coming for Chris.
Yeah, I mean that's with every kind of like almost every robber movie. Is that like, oh, I gained the money, but yet
Yeah.
like the wife isn't really happy with the amount of money they're getting when clearly they're living well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like Neil is, he in his own words, he's alone all the time, but he's not lonely. But he does find Edie, and the way they first meet up, you're like, oh, I guess that's why you don't have anybody in your life, because you just keep to yourself, which is smart since you're wanted.
Yeah. And I love Robert De Niro's character here.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna say this now. Sure, his acting as Godfather guy
Vito Corleone.
early on, yeah, was really fucking good. But I like him here as the very quiet, calculated criminal. And
Yeah.
literally me. Like that's the like for me, that was the
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling of back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, with the opening heist and like the way Neil carries himself, like you see inspirations where like GTA 5 got inspirations from, with like Michael.
Yeah, it is very Michael.
Yeah.
It is very Michael.
Like unlike GTA 5, it's not as over the top. Though again, Vincent Hanna's character is a bit over the top, especially since he's just like doing the Al Pacino mannerisms, like when he's investigating the guy who's having the car. Yeah, she had a big ass, a great ass, and you had your head all the way up in it. You're, what? I think some part of the script that got deleted
I
said,
improvised on a lot.
yeah, because they forgot to mention a deleted part is that he used to be addicted to cocaine, and now he's clean.
Like in real life? Or...
No, in the character.
Okay. I can see it. But like, it's just so weird because he starts saying things. Like where he's interrogating that one dude,
Yeah.
and they were trying to get the name of the guy who says,
Slick.
oh, Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he just says something so weird and out of nowhere. I'm like, and then they get it. I was like, what? I forgot what the phrase was, but all I know it was just so weird. It was in that scene. I was like,
Yeah.
Al Pacino's really giving it his all,
Yeah.
and nobody asked for it.
Like the scene when he's like targeting the cousin first, and he's like, "Give me all you got, give me all you got." You're like, Jesus Christ, how can you handle
Yeah.
this man? This man's intense, and that's why he's so good at tracking down these criminals.
Yes. I couldn't take Al Pacino seriously, man. I love the character when he's like serious, but when Al Pacino kind of like goes ham with it, I lose all like,
Composure.
I'm like, oh, yeah. I was like, okay, it's just Al Pacino now. It's not Vincent.
Yeah. But you see how good of a detective Vincent Hanna is. Like the fact that he picked up that one of the crew members calls people Slick, and he's like, "Oh, I remember that because one of the witnesses said he heard the name Slick." He's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay, they're connected then." And
Yeah,
then
so they're like, he knew they were on the right trail here.
yeah, and then you enter this like really good cat and mouse game of them trying to survey the crew, and at the same time the crew also surveying them. They're like, "Oh shit, that's pretty smart." When like they draw them out to that empty lot, and then Vincent Hanna's like, "Oh wait, we're being watched." Shit.
But that was a good scene where they're in like the, fuck, what do you call it? The crate thingies.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where they're like, why were they looking at this direction? And then he was like, they weren't looking at this direction because they wanted to look at something over there. They're looking at us right now.
Yeah.
I was like, that was so fucking cool. You see Robert De Niro taking shots. I'm like,
Yeah.
So, such a fucking good scene. Such a good scene.
And like even Al Pacino's crew is pretty star-studded. Like you got Buffalo Bill, isn't it? As one of the sergeants, and Wes Studi from Last of the Mohicans, I think he was in, and
Yeah.
they're all pretty. To be honest, it's a very star-studded crew. Like you got Robert De Niro,
is.
Val Kilmer, Al Pacino.
Yeah, those were the main. Like Danny Trejo, I don't think he was big yet around this time,
Yeah,
so he wasn't like kind of given enough screen time. But seeing like, wait, I don't know, was Danny Trejo big around this time?
I'm not as big as he is today. Like same with
Okay.
Tom Sizemore. Like I don't think Saving Private Ryan came out. No, it was 3 years
Like,
after. Yeah,
Yeah, but like, I do love the imbalance when it comes to the team. But you can see that Al Pacino's character Vincent is way smarter.
yeah,
But you know, like I don't know. How can I say that? Because they're both kind of clashing in the same area, like
They-
Robert De Niro's character and like Al Pacino's. But Al Pacino's kind of doing this one-man job. It feels like he was the only one figuring shit out.
yeah. While also dealing with
I
his,
couldn't English.
while also dealing with like there's this murderer who's like cracking people's skulls open. And you're like, oh, that's Waingro, and he's a sick bastard.
Yeah, where he kills a 17-year-old prostitute. I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
and like
stuff to see.
yeah, and like he's dealing with like family matters too. Like his marriage is falling apart with his wife, and his stepdaughter was played by a young Natalie Portman after Leon the Professional, and you just see how good of an actress she'll become one day, and you're like, oh, cool. It's like both
Yeah,
the biggest stars of the day and with like future big stars in later years, and it's just cool to see how all of them develop their craft together as actors. Oh, you froze for it. Never mind, you're back.
yeah. Alright.
But of course, since the police are surveying them, they do have like Neil's car, and like Vincent stops him for coffee, and then that's when you get the really good diner scene that is the selling point of this movie. Like, it's not really the shootout, it's not really the action, it's them.
Hey, the shootout was fucking sick.
It is.
Or they had unlimited amount of ammo. I was like, I haven't seen them reload a single gun yet.
Right? Though I forgot to mention, like, the person that they stole from in the beginning is out to get them because he tries to rip them off and tries to kill them.
Played by, what's his name?
Will Fichtner.
Yeah. Black Hawk Down guy.
Yeah. But again, the diner scene is like the most iconic shot of this movie, where it's just two men having a conversation, Neil and Vincent Hanna, and Vincent Hanna's being like, oh, do you want to go back to jail? And Neil being like, do I look like I have a Born to Lose tattoo on my chest? Do I hold up liquor stores? Not really. It's like, you never wanted a regular type life? The fuck is that? Barbecue and ball games? Like, okay. Is your life
I would
regular?
do-
No. Our marriage is falling apart.
Yeah, that was the time when they're like, I do love a good, just sit down with both opposing sides,
Yeah.
not trying to capture each other or kill each other, just enough to give them enough respect for each other,
Yeah.
you know. And that's what you kind of see at the end. We'll talk about it once we get there. But like, I do love this scene because I love scenes where bad guy, good guy, or whichever side it is, are just sat together and toss away the main goal and just let them develop their character. And I was like, yes,
Yeah.
very good. Such a good scene.
And then we also get like the title, I guess, of the movie, of like Vincent Hanna describing his marriage, and Neil being like, some guy told me that you're never supposed to get yourself attached to somebody if you can't walk away within 30 seconds when you feel the heat around the corner. It's like, is that what you're gonna do? Walk away from the woman you found?
Well, credits.
That's the discipline. It's either that or we do something else. And he's just like, I don't know how to do anything else. Neither do I. Very much don't want to do anything else either. Neither do I. And you just see, again, mutual respect, and him just drawing the line of like, look, we've been face to face, but if it's between you and some poor bastard's wife who you're gonna turn into a widow, I'm gonna put you down. And Neil just goes, well, there's a flip side to that. If you do got me boxed in, I will not hesitate, not for a second. just like, all right.
Yeah, again, amazing performance from De Niro and Al Pacino here, where Al Pacino doesn't go full Al Pacino.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure a lot of people have seen. I've seen the clip of Tom Hiddleston doing his Al Pacino and Robert De Niro impression from Graham Norton, I think it was. Sure, the clip later. It's pretty funny. Because he's right in front of Robert De Niro as well. You're like, oh, okay.
No matter with the age
Yeah.
of Robert De Niro, I don't think I ever want to fuck with Robert De Niro.
It's just to have him be like, oh, okay.
Because I feel like that man could get me, like, killed. I feel like he does have connection to the mob.
You know what? Probably not, but he is a scary-looking dude. Scary-looking grandpa. You're like, I don't, no, thank you. And then they also fuck with Vincent because they're like, they just dumped all of his surveillance, and he's like, just had fucking coffee with him an hour ago. What? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I also do love this one scene where it like goes back to like where like what's his name again? Neil.
Mm-hmm.
What he would say is like, oh, I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. But then you get the dinner scene where they're giving gifts to each other, they're giving their wives rings, and they see them happy with their kids, and then you just see like Neil in the middle of it all, and just like,
you're like, oh, okay.
Now he's alone.
Yeah. Now he has
And that's
someone
when
to
he
care
calls
for.
out Eddie. Sorry.
Edie.
Edie.
Yeah. They also pick up another crew member in like a diner. Someone that Neil knows pretty well, because they have to get him because Trejo is fucked because the police are surrounding him. Because if I remember correctly, Waingo is in league with like the guy they ripped off, Will Fichtner's character. So everything's going against them. And they're like, oh shit, what do? We have this big heist going on, and we don't have a driver essentially. And they got the guy from the diner. Well, I don't know the actor's name, but I like the few moments he's in this one. Like, he fits better than Waingo, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Waingro's
A serial killer. Yeah. Besides the crew that, aside from robbing and not killing people, they're pretty normal people. They're just very wealthy. Like, yeah, that makes sense. I forgot the fence that they have in contact with is played by Angelina Jolie's father, John Voight.
Yeah. John Voight. It's so good because you would think that like the fence would rat him out, but the entire time the dude was just a bro.
Yeah, like, alright, salute you.
I just keep waiting for the moment where the guy fucks him over and like betrays them.
Yeah.
I was like, nope. He was a top G the whole time.
Yeah.
Got him an escape plane and everything. Sadly.
Yeah, and then again, Michael Mann shows how effective and efficient Neil's crew is when they're doing the big robbery. And you feel like other like movies and video games have definitely taken inspiration from this. It's just the difference is that there's no Trevor character in Neil's crew. They're all just Michael or Franklin. They're just effective and efficient. Like, they make sure, like, because Neil tells one of the hostages, like, look, if you have heart problems, just lean against the wall. The rest of you stay on the ground. And like, he threatens the bank manager, but he's like, I won't kill you. Just let your wound bleed. You're like, all right.
Yeah, it's so fucking good. Man, it makes me want to replay GTA, but now that I think about it, like, GTA's like 5, the cash out's not that great.
Yeah.
Like, you can get millions, but they only pay like 500,000. Fuck.
Right. But anyway, back to this movie. As you mentioned before, the shootout is fucking insane. Like, I know most of the members of Neil's crew, the actors at least, have training from a guy who was in the British Royal Marines for like gun weaponry. So like, they have like John Wick as training, and you see that happening. Like, the guy also let De Niro and the rest of the crew like play around with like live ammunition, but for the movie they use blanks, obviously. And you see all of them just see why Neil's crew is the best, but at the same time why Vincent Hanna's crew is the best, probably the best crew to take Neil's crew down. You're like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And Chris is the sniper, and Michael's the tank, essentially.
Yeah, and I still love that one scene. I think it was earlier on, where I think it was a setup where they had to trade with the money.
Yeah.
was just pieces of paper. You
Yeah.
can see Chris like from afar. It's like, ah, there's somebody coming up behind you,
Alright.
and then he just runs him over.
Oh shit, that was pretty cool though.
I don't know if you noticed, but I think they paid attention to detail because they're like the guy's arm was dangling. You could see like a little bone sticking out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right? But like in a big shootout, I think in real life they blocked a section of downtown LA just to film the scene, which took a while to film.
I could tell.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shooting.
Yeah. And like you said, like they never reload. You're like, oh, someone has the infinite ammo spam on. Cool.
Both De Niro and Al Pacino.
Yeah. I do like the one shot Vincent Hanna gets on Michael when he has like a kid, but he has a clear headshot. Like, well, you're fucked. Either way. And then Chris is wounded, right? So
Yeah.
Neil has to bring him to like a vet.
I hate that one scene where they're like, it was like, how's Chris? He's gone. What? He ran. You son of a bitch.
Like,
But
good
I
job.
laughed so hard at that.
And now the mystery is who sold them out. They think it's Danny Trejo, and Neil goes to his house, but they find his wife or girlfriend or wife, and they find Danny Trejo's character barely able to move, and he tells them it's Waingro. But before Neil leaves, he begs Neil, like, can you please just end me? I don't want to live like this anymore. My wife is gone anyway. It's a bit more, I don't know, dramatic when you don't see the effect of the shot. You see it from a distance, like, oh fuck. It's like,
Yeah, I do like that.
yeah.
Just the mercy kill was kind of already a heavy scene. I was like,
Yeah.
I love it when I see Robert De Niro clearing corners, just like coming in. He
Yeah.
did that for the guy who set him up.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
throws the chair. And it's like, where's Waingro? It's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, pop, 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 pop. You're like, well,
I'm like, oh,
like,
I just it's just different seeing Robert De Niro back off again.
yeah. It's really cool seeing him, like, essentially be like before John Wick. Or like before Vincent from Collateral. You're like, shit. I guess Michael Mann's really good at doing that, turning our favorite actors into badasses.
Yeah, I agree, and I will say, might be a bit of a hot take, but I feel like this is Robert De Niro's best.
Is it your favorite movie of Robert De Niro?
I think so. Because I never seen Robert De Niro like this. He's always, the gangster that just walks around. Sure, he shoots here and there, but like, he's always the calm, composed, like, get shit done. Here, he gets shit done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I like action scenes.
Yeah, and you see that towards the end too. You're like, oh Jesus Christ! But before that, Vincent does everything like surrounded. Like they know he's going after Waingro, and he sets up a team to make sure nothing happens to him. But that won't stop Neil. And like Edie knows already like who he is, and he's like, look, if you just wait and just run away from me, I just have some business to take, and we'll just be fine. We'll make our own lives together. And she's like, oh, okay. I guess I
Alright.
don't have any choice.
Back up your
Fuck.
stuff.
Yeah.
It was a nice scene. But yeah.
I do.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Chris is tipped off by his wife that like the police are there and they're waiting for him. He's like,
Yeah, I
oh,
love
okay.
that scene where they're like, I don't know what this means. But I was like, gotcha. And he just bolts.
Yeah.
But he already had the fake ID. He dyed his hair and cut it. He looks like a completely different person, I think.
Yeah. Then again, you're like, you know what? It's LA. There's a lot of people that probably look like Chris. Who knows?
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
Yeah. And then something happens to Natalie Portman, right? Because her father
Oh yeah,
is deadbeat.
She tried to commit suicide.
Yeah. Before that, Vincent Hanna discovers like his wife is cheating on him, and he's like, "Look, man, you made you get it
He's like, you could fuck my wife, but you don't watch
my
television."
TV." And then he's like, "I never cheated on you, bitch." You're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that shit. Where it's like, I never cheated on you, bitch. And her reasoning was, in my opinion, kind of bullshit.
yeah." You're like,
Oh,
"What?"
you're not there present. Like, this dude's looking at dead bodies 24/7. You think he's okay up here.
He already said
He found it to
why.
open up.
Yeah, he already said why he doesn't open up. It's like, I don't want to tell you that someone dude microwave their baby. I don't want to say that. Please just stop asking me to talk about my job.
His explanation was the most dad thing.
Yeah.
He's like, keep it all in here.
Yeah.
Just be sharp. I'm like, that's something a dad would say.
Right. But yeah. Thankfully, the stepdaughter is fine by the end. You're like, oh, cool. I thought it was going to go super dark with that.
She died
Yeah.
I was like, because it's a lot of blood. Because artery.
Yeah. But at the same time, Neil's making a move on Wango. He like sneaks in, disguises. It's essentially like a Hitman game at this point, where you just disguise yourself like one of the room service people, and like
it's such a hard scene to watch because like he almost made it.
Yeah.
Because he like, what was the name again? Angelina Jones then.
John Voight.
Yeah, John Voight like tips him off like, hey, there's a guy under this name, but it's Waingro in this hotel. Just letting you know. And he kind of just takes another turn just to get his revenge on Waingro.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do love that scene where he like disguised himself as security. So he just gave himself a flashlight.
Yeah.
Pretty much staged a fire. And tried to get in.
Yeah, kicks the door open. And he's like, "Look at me, look at me." You're like, "Oh, this guy's scary when he wants to be." Shit.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
I also love the 2 shots to the chest and then 1 shot to the head. Again, very John Wick, very Vincent from Collateral esque. Huh. I guess that's a style.
I would put them as like the 3 kings of gun fu. Okay, no. Oh. There's that John Woo movie. I forgot the name of the actor.
Yeah.
But like Vincent from Collateral,
Neil from this one, Heat,
and John Wick. God, I would love to see them as a team up.
That'd be pretty sick. And like even you see him how he disarms people and just beats one guy with a flashlight. Like fuck.
That would be good. Where like the guy, like the cop across the room, like kind of like sticks him up and he like backs into him and then disarms it. I was like, oh,
right,
so good.
Right.
I miss it. I miss when Robert De Niro was that nimble.
And then Vincent Hanna spots him outside and they give chase to the airport where they do exactly what they told each other in the diner, where if you do got me boxing, I will not hesitate to shoot you. And Vincent Hanna be like, if you're gonna make someone a widow, I will put you down. And just luck essentially, because Vincent Hanna sees his shadow and just takes like a couple of shots to Neil's chest. Like, I guess this is the end of the cat and mouse game. And they, by the end, they still like have mutual respect of like, yeah, that's a good chase.
Yeah, like even Robert De Niro's Neil was like, Dojo ain't going back.
Yeah.
As he's like dying, and then like Vincent comes in to like hold his hand. I'm like,
Yeah.
and you just see like in Vincent's face, I'm like, shit. It's like, oh, the respect,
Yeah.
manly respect. The amount of testosterone in that scene.
The amount of romance they had, you're like, oh.
Yeah. Two
I-
opposing sides,
Yeah.
but they both respect each other equally, but they had to do what needs to be done. I'm like, so good.
Yeah, and I don't think it's until, not until The Irishman that they have another movie where they're in both scenes together. You're like, why? They're so good together. Why would you keep them separate?
That's why it's so valuable when you see both of them in one movie in the same scene together.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go again.
It's magic.
Yeah.
But yeah, what would you rate Heat?
I had so much fun with this movie. This movie is so good and probably one of my favorite Robert De Niro performances. He was the standout for me. Even though Al Pacino was kind of over the top, Robert De Niro's like calm, calculated demeanor kind of overshadowed that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm just giving it 10 out of 10. He's really fucking good.
Right?
Like, the story's good. It doesn't follow the regular pacing of, some movies. I don't know, it's just so good. Like,
Yeah.
sure, we get moments of like, hey, what do you call it? Like, it's just family or them living their lives. I was like, I like that because you get character development from those. So I was like,
Yeah.
I really did enjoy that. And once they got to the robbery scene, and then there was this whole shootout, you got scared of like, I don't want him to die, and I don't want him to die,
Yeah.
kind of moment. So I was like, a few movies made me feel that way, and this is one of them. So yeah, it's a 10 out of 10. It's such a good fucking movie. I really recommend anyone who's a fan of heist movies or loves GTA, watch this.
Yeah. I also will give this a 10 out of 10. Like, I really don't have any complaints. Like, I like every moment. Like, even though, as you said, Al Pacino is a bit over the top, like, the rest of the movie is pretty good. Like, for the times a great big ass, Rick. What?
Was it a great ass or a big ass? I forgot what it was.
Big ass. Because he has his head all the way up and Rick. What?
I was like, yeah, that's what he said. I was like, wait, repeat. If I'm being interrogated by Al Pacino, he does that shit, I'm like, I'm gonna start laughing.
But yeah, it's a pretty good movie. The action's intense, the dialogue is pretty good, and like just the scenes without like the shootouts, you're just still like invested.
Like the scene?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the diner scene is like the cherry on the top of the cake. You're like, oh shit, it's pretty good. But yeah, anything else to say about Heat before we wrap this up?
Yeah. No. I think we said everything that we needed to say.
Yeah. But yeah, that's been our video on Heat. What's your favorite Al Pacino and Robert De Niro movie, either together or separately? Or what's your favorite heist movie? Tell us down below in the comments. If you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We're also on Spotify and TikTok. TikTok to see our best and funniest moments and our reaction to trailers. Spotify to hear us on the go. I am not on socials, but John, miss, where are your socials?
Oh, I am at... Fuck. Man, this whole new thing is fucking me up. How did it go again?
What's your art account, buddy?
No, shut up. You can follow me at John, GAOM _ on Instagram. This is my account.
Alright, and you can still see me on YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok, so there's that. But yeah, we'll be doing another heist movie, so until then, we'll see you there. I know, it's confusing. But yeah, bye guys.